Welcome to Moms of the Lou, hosted by two fellow St. Louis moms, Rebecca
and Lauren,
and recorded for St. Louis moms.
Grab your laundry basket, kick your feet up for nap time, or head out the door for pickup, and spend a little time catching up with local moms who are making a big impact in St. Louis.
Let's dive into our discussion today. All right, St. Louis moms, we are back for another episode of Moms of the Lou. So excited about this discussion today. I think it will be timely and give you a boost. So we're joined today by Stacy McCann. She is a licensed mental health therapist located in the Metro East. So we are going to be talking a lot about all the things that moms are up against these days. So welcome, Stacy.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
We're thrilled to have you.
Yeah,
So you're a Metro East mom, right?
I am,
so
Edwardsville.
let's start there. What are some of your favorite spots in Edwardsville?
In Edwardsville.
Mm-hmm.
I love Ed's. I don't know if you know like the whole Cleveland Heath history, but Cleveland Heath's been around a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Ed Heath was half of Cleveland Heath. He moved away and he came back, and now on Main Street he has a deli and bar. And it's like if you ever want to go for dinner but have a sandwich and a really good cocktail, combination of those. It's like my favorite place to go when I don't have my daughter with me.
Yeah.
But they do have hot dogs, and she loves their hot dogs, so she can come sometimes too.
Amazing. And that's
Love
Ed's.
Ed's. Yep.
How fun.
Yeah. So Ed's is sort of a hot place right now. With my daughter, the Edwardsville Children's Museum is like amazing. They add on literally like every month there's something new there.
Yeah.
The outside area there is just spectacular. It just like doubles their entire space. So we go there a lot. We go to Pottery Hollow a lot, and we paint pottery.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of hitting up the local places in Edwardsville. But we come on this side of the river a lot too.
Yeah. Any local coffee shops in Edwardsville we should know about?
Yes.
I do always go to Goshen. Goshen sort of has my heart just because they started at Edwardsville, and so it just feels like home there. And they have two locations now, literally in Edwardsville. So that's kind of neat. But I also really love 222. Which is artisan bakery coffee shop.
Cool.
They actually catered my baby shower. And so long history there as well. That's the last place I took my daughter before the pandemic. She was 9 months old. So
you have a special place in your heart
there.
for the core memory.
So we love going there as well.
So take us back a little bit. Are you from Edwardsville? Are you from the St. Louis area?
So no, I'm not. I've lived here over a decade at this point.
Okay.
I moved here in 2010. I'm from Metro Detroit, actually. So similar setup in like the Metro downtown area. 20 minutes from Detroit is where I grew up. I went to college at University of Michigan. So I stayed in Michigan up until I graduated undergrad, and then I kind of went around and did some things. Went to grad school and then moved down here after grad school. I met my husband at the time, boyfriend at the time, obviously. Yeah. We met through some mutual friends, and he's from here. He's from Staunton originally. So he was from here. I didn't have a job. I had graduated grad school, was kind of free. And so I came on down over here.
So did you study to be a licensed mental health therapist?
So graduate school was social work.
Okay.
Undergrad was
you
not.
always
Undergrad
knew this was for you?
Yeah, undergrad was journalism, marketing stuff,
okay.
which is actually coming in quite handy.
Yeah.
Owning your own business. But grad school was social work. I knew I wanted to go into working probably with children at that point, and social services of some kind. I really wanted to go into schools, do school social work. And so I graduated sort of with that intention. And when I moved, I started working for what is now Easter Seals. It was not Easter Seals at the time, doing kid work, parent support, parent training, parent education. And that's really how I got my path into sort of therapy.
Okay.
So it takes a long time to get your license. You have to do like 3,000 hours after grad school. So I did all of that at Easter Seals, and that sort of set my trajectory forward.
So you're a huge, that's a lot to, it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Longer history than I would like. But
It got you here.
It got you here. So your main focus is what I'm seeing is that it's you're there for the mental health of the mother.
Yes.
And what brought you to that specifically?
Yeah, that's a great question. So through all my history, I was working with children a lot. And when you work with children, you have to work with their parents, right? But when I say parents, like, who do you think was showing up to those appointments? It was moms, right? So I had a long history working with moms. Then I became a mom in 2019. Then the pandemic hit in
Yep.
2020.
Yeah, wow.
And so all of that combined sort of pushed me towards moms.
Yeah.
And the pandemic really is what shone the light on, like, moms were the ones quitting their jobs to stay home. Were the ones who were role playing as teachers, while their kids were home. Moms were the ones sort of taking all of that on, some by choice and some by not. So when that sort of, I don't know, that the light went on for that, with me, and I think with general society as well. And so I decided at that point, I wanted to launch my practice because I wanted the control over my schedule so I could spend time with my daughter. But I knew when I launched it, it had to be about moms. So took me 2 years, but I launched in 2022 and have been, I had a handful of kids as clients, but I knew moms were going to be the focus. So that's been the trajectory ever since.
For nearly 5 decades, the St. Louis Children's Choirs have been a constant source of inspiration for thousands of children, where every week their voices rise in harmony. The St. Louis Children's Choir's new gala, In Harmony, celebrates these remarkable young artists and launched the next era of the choirs under the innovative leadership of Artistic Director Dr. Allison Moore. More than simply a choir, SLCC is a beacon of hope and healing for our home city. It is proof that when young people are nurtured, our entire community thrives. Join the St. Louis Children's Choirs at the pageant on April 11th, 2026 for an evening of excellence and entertainment where your support becomes part of their shared song. Visit slcc.givesmart.com for tickets. Wow.
What? Okay, it's 2026.
Yep.
March 2026. What are you seeing just kind of across the board that moms are, some of the common things that moms are struggling with these days?
Interesting. I hear the same things. Everyone has their own story, but I hear the same things when people call. I hear, I don't know who I am anymore. I've lost touch with myself. I feel invisible. I feel like I'm just doing all the things in the background and nobody notices me. And I just feel completely overwhelmed all the time, overloaded, stimulated, just all the things, overloaded all the time. So the common themes that we end up talking about are things like shifting and balancing the mental load, how to self-advocate for your basic needs. What even are your basic needs? How to self-advocate for those, how to value your time so that other people value your time, how to add to your motherhood journey so that you feel it's robust and multifaceted and like suits you as a dynamic person, and that you are a mom, but you are also many other things. So it's like some self-identity and self-expression related to identity.
That's huge. I could just cry just thinking about
all
all that you just said. Well, it's
it's
just really
okay if you
important. I did not have an easy experience after I had my first. And I just feel like the support necessarily wasn't around, or this conversation wasn't around when I had, so my daughter's going to be 10 this month. And I just feel like this conversation of supporting the mother just was not around. And do you feel like that's something that's, what came first, like the chicken or the egg? Like, were the moms getting stressed more first?
I think this is not a new problem, right? I think there are new attributes to this problem in that, like, intensive mothering in 2026 was not a thing in 1955, right?
Correct.
Like the amount of time we're expected to spend with our children,
100%.
the amount of activities we're supposed to be
1000%.
signing them up for, right? Like that wasn't at play. But I think the mental load was at play. I think just the default parent situation was at play. And I think it was just an unwritten rule that if you signed up to be a mom, you self-sacrificed totally and completely. And you were an absolute martyr in the home. And that's where most of our grandparents, our grandmothers were raised in that direction. And I think even today, little girls are still sort of pushed in that direction. But I think the more we talk about that, you can sign up to be a mom and you can become a mom, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're losing every other piece of who you are. The more we can talk about that, I think the more normal it will become for our own daughters.
Yeah.
So I think the problem's always been there. We just have some unique attributes in 2026 that make it feel a little more intense, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and I think, that proverb that you hear, when people are falling in downstream, you want to go back upstream and look like, or when you see people in the stream, you know what I'm talking about. Where are they falling in? And I I wonder, like, I'm also having a lot of discussions with friends who are now further along in motherhood. You
Sure.
know, their kids are leaving the home and now they're like, now what? You
Yeah.
know, I've
Sure.
literally filled my whole life with my children,
Absolutely.
everything. I've put, you know, aside time to nurture my passions and my skills and my talents,
Sure.
and even like my marriage or my relationship,
Absolutely.
you know?
Yeah.
And so I feel like this is a really important discussion to help set up moms well, you know, for when kids do leave, you know, that
Sure.
not all of a sudden you just wake up and you're like, wow, you know,
Yeah.
now
Who
what?
am I now?
Yeah, now
Yeah,
what?
who am
You
I?
know?
Yeah.
Um,
And I think I think there's a long history from when we are very small little girls to people please, to, you know, to do for others, to caregive as your sole responsibility. And so I think when you get to a point where you hit adulthood and then you have your own children and they sort of leave the nest, then the need for you sort of feels like it's also leaving the nest, right?
Yeah.
Like, who needs you
Mm.
now? Nobody needs me now. So what am I if nobody needs me? Who am I if nobody needs me anymore? And that's kind of what I'm trying to speak to is like, that's important, right? That role of caregiving your children and meeting needs is important, but it cannot be the only role you play.
Yeah.
It can't. Because when those children go on, and they always need you in some sense, but they're not needing the tangible, like everyday kind of stuff, then you have to be able to fulfill yourself with yourself. You have to be able to find fulfillment outside of other people, including your children. That's not the appropriate role for them to play anyway.
Totally.
I think it's a conversation that, you know, where do we fall in the stream is like, I don't know, maybe when we're born and that we're
Yeah.
expected to people please and we're expected to nurture others before we nurture ourselves as women.
So you said something about people feeling invisible.
Yeah.
Seeing this as a common theme when
Yeah.
they come to you. And so my question for you is how can a mom, because I feel like if you talk to 10 moms, they don't want a red carpet rolled out for
Oh,
them, like
definitely
with
not.
the
Sure.
crown and saying, you're the most amazing mom ever all the time.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think just some sort of acknowledgement or just like, hey,
Yeah.
I see like how much you're doing, or man, like we couldn't do it without you. You know, just that from time to time, or just the
Absolutely.
acknowledgement of all that moms
Yes.
do. So what are some of your tips for like how moms can maybe like express that or
Yes,
communicate that in like
Sure.
an effective way in their home?
Sure. I talk about this in sort of several veins, and one of them is just starting to say all of the running dialogue in our head out loud. So, and what I mean by that is, I think I always use the dishwasher for an example, right? Like unloading the dishwasher is a chore, it's a task, anyone can do it. But me knowing that my daughter's favorite water bottle is in the dishwasher and it's covered in spaghetti because we had spaghetti, but field day's Friday and she's going to want her favorite water bottle because that, you know, go on, like 7 more layers, right?
Yes.
That's the mental load.
That's mom life. Yeah.
Right. But like, do you think my
I feel
husband's
so
thinking
seen
about
right
that?
now?
No. He may do a great job at unloading the dishwasher and he may do it without me asking, and that would be fantastic. But he's not considering that water bottle piece. So that's what we have to start saying out loud. And it doesn't have to be that exhaustive to where we go through every step, but like even just saying on Tuesday night, hey, field day's Friday, her water bottle's in the dishwasher.
Yeah.
It's been in there for 24 hours. We need to run it because she needs it on Friday. Like that, say that, right? Rather than just waiting to kind of getting to the point where you need to scream about it.
Correct.
Or just taking it and doing it yourself. Because it's not just about the water bottle, it's about 10,000 other tasks
Right.
that are like that water bottle. So starting to say those things out loud, little bits at a time, right? It's the mental load I define as the planning, the prepping, and the predicting. It's living in the future, right?
Yes.
And it steals the present from you, which is the
Yes.
problem. But we have to start naming that and saying it out loud, little bits at a time. But the second tangible sort of action step that I give moms is start like self-advocating for your basic needs. And when I say basic needs, I don't mean like a 7-day cruise, right? Like we all need a 7-day cruise, but like basic needs are like, I need to shower
Yeah.
in the next hour. Or I haven't sat down for a lunch in 2 weeks because I'm busy and I don't like I eat the scraps at the bottom of the Annie's mac and cheese pot, right? So self-advocating for your time, your, you know, basic needs to feel like a human being. And starting to sort of name that as like a requirement. And that I sort of consider time value. And that sort of feels to me like the antidote of invisibility is if I value my time and I prioritize my time and I start saying that out loud, and then my partner starts valuing my time, that feels like visibility. That feels like he's thinking about me and looking at me and saying her time is as valuable as my time. And that time she's set aside on the calendar to do whatever she needs to do is important.
Yeah.
And that's visibility, right? That's like being seen. The time she spends clearing off the coffee table every night or the kitchen counter every night, that's valuable.
Yeah.
And that is important to our home, and it keeps our home running.
Yes, absolutely.
Come meet real Duo Touch therapy dogs at the Duo Dogs free family event on March 28th from 10 a.m. to noon. Celebrate Cavi's Caring Crew, a children's book inspired by therapy dogs. Enjoy kids' activities, book signings, giveaways, and lots of doggy love at Duo Dogs. Please RSVP for this free event.
I could keep going on all
Yeah,
these
I mean, we need to
topics.
double this podcast,
I know.
but maybe
It's a nuanced conversation, and
It
it's
is.
like, that's why it needs to be a therapy process, is because people need to come and
Yes.
talk about this week after week after week. But there's a lot of little things we can do. And a lot of them, honestly, you can summarize it as saying like, it requires us to use our voice.
yeah.
And that's a problem because many women are taught not to use their voices. So that's the key though, using our voices.
Yeah.
Right. And just last thing, you talked about this wasn't an issue that moms were up against in the 50s and the 60s. This a lot of activities and a lot
the
of
intensive.
the intensive and
yes.
even just
And opinions.
And
I feel like there's a lot
yes,
of opinions
and social
too.
judgment. Yes,
correct.
And
100%,
like
yeah.
social media and phones, like even that's been a discussion in our home right now that feels like it's weighing so heavy. It's like, how do we navigate that?
Yeah.
And that wasn't even on the radar 50
No,
years ago.
for
Sure. How do we
It's another
manage
challenge.
technology use with kids? And so do you feel like there's at some point moms like have to push back against
Sure.
some of this and say, listen, our lives are too full. We need to like pull back on
Absolutely.
some of this,
Absolutely. I think that's part of using our voice maybe is this third piece of setting boundaries for ourselves and protecting ourselves and our family's peace and our calm and our regulation by saying no occasionally, but also just by saying like, I'm not going to post this online. You know what I mean? Like, or I'm not going to like look at the apple orchards that everyone's going to online. If we're going to go, we're going to go, or not, we're not. It doesn't matter what everyone else is doing. And I think that's part of that self-advocacy is that sometimes I'm going to have to set boundaries. And it may mean disappointing people. It may mean saying no to my mother-in-law, to my sister, to somebody I love. But those boundaries are protective of our peace. To speak to that. But that's a whole nother nuanced layer of why mothering is intensive.
Yeah.
2026 for sure.
Oof. We could keep this going.
Yeah, totally.
I could keep this going.
I could definitely keep talking
forever.
for sure.
Yeah. But we'll get to where people can find you and keep this conversation going. But let's make it a little fun.
Sure.
And I have a couple rapid fire questions for you,
All
Stacy.
right.
Is that all right?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay. All right. Let's start easy. What's one thing always in your mom bag?
Oh, goodness. I mean, snacks are obvious, but probably like ibuprofen because my daughter will not stop talking ever. But yeah, I would say those two things.
I love it.
Let's
Or
go
her
with
water
it.
bottle.
Yes,
Or a water
yes, for both of us.
Oh, the water
7 drinks
bottles.
at all times.
Yeah.
For all of us.
For sure. Okay. What fills your cup the fastest?
Honestly, what I did yesterday, which is going out to eat by myself. It's like one of my favorite things to do because it tackles like many things at once where I don't have to make a meal.
Yeah.
I'm by myself, but like with other adults, and,
Yes.
outside in the community. And I'm alone. So I don't have to like cut her food up and like entertain her in any way and all
And
that
you're not
stuff.
cleaning it up afterwards.
It's a lot of like needs for me.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Okay. Favorite 10-minute reset for yourself?
Ooh, good one. I would say a quick walk outside is always restorative if I can make that happen. But that 10 minutes of that is not always feasible. Sometimes in that margin time where it is like just 10 or 15 minutes, I honestly like opening up my notebook and writing sort of either stream of thought consciousness or making some kind of list of some kind, where I can just take what's in here and put it down here.
I'm calling those brain dumps now.
Yes, that's what it is. A 10-minute brain dump. But that's why I always have my notebook with me because if I need it, I need to get it out.
Put it down.
Yeah.
Okay, last one. For moms, finish the sentence. You're not failing, you're just...
You're not failing. You're just stretched too thin. I'm going to leave it.
Yeah.
I could go on about that, but we're going to leave it. We're
Leave
just
it.
stretch too thin.
Just
Yeah.
leave it there. Well, Stacy, this has been really eye-opening and helpful, and I know our listeners will be really encouraged. So how can they connect with you? How can they find you?
Probably, I would say Instagram is definitely the most direct contact to me. My handle is at Stacy McCann, LCSW, which is my first and last name. My therapy practice is Present Moment Counseling Services. Google it, or it's presentmomentcs.com. But Instagram seems to be the best, easiest, most efficient way to get a hold of me. So Stacy McCann, LCSW.
And her Instagram is a great hug. I think so
Thank
too.
you.
It helps moms feel seen. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yes.
Thank you.
And we value your time and your presence today.
Thank
you for being here.
I appreciate that.
We know all it took to get here.
My daughter told me I needed to wear my number one mom today. Since I told her, I was like, do you know who made the STL mom sweatshirt that I wear? I'm going there today. So she was very excited.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
All
Stacey,
right, for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
All right, St. Louis moms, we will catch you on our next episode. Thanks for listening to Moms of the Lou. We hope it encouraged you and put a pep in your step and helped you get to know our community a little bit better. Be sure to find us on Instagram, STLouis_mom. You can find us on Facebook, St. Louis Mom. You can find us on our website, www.stlouismom.com. In case nobody else tells you today, you're a great mom and you're doing a great job. Chat with you next time.